We've waited a long time for this moment. Standing on the precipice of this monumental occasion, it's important to cast our eyes to the past before stepping forward into this future. Allow me to take you back in time to what some might consider a simpler time, a time where the foundations of the anime world we've come to know and love were being forged and constructed. After the all-encompassing Dragon Ball by Akira Toriyama kicked down the door to anime in the Western world, paved the way for 3 shows to completely take over and dominate what would come to be known as the anime scene in the West. Our first encounter, Oda Eiichiro's One Piece. After that, Masashi Kishimoto's Naruto, and soon after, Tite Kubo's Bleach. 3 shows with massive popularity and strength of fandom that put it head and shoulders above the rest. They fostered strong emotional ties to the kids of that generation, and those children grew up with the shows themselves, forging an even greater bond. For many years, they became the quintessential flag bearers and pillars of the anime community, both in Japan and in the Western world. But our tale does not lie in the history of all 3. Specifically, this story focuses on Tite Kubo's Bleach, and the path he, his show, and his fans took from the highest of highs and then into the fatally close encounter with obscurity into what is now the biggest renaissance of all time. When Bleach first aired, it quickly forged a faithful fanbase within anime watchers in Japan and in the Western market, with its main comparison being Oda's One Piece and Kishimoto's Naruto. Numerous fans around the world enjoyed its stark difference to its counterparts. The bright, colorful adventure of One Piece was very different from the dreary, gothic atmosphere of Tite Kubo's Bleach. The outgoing, childish antics of Naruto and Luffy remained a far cry from the silent, almost normal Ichigo, and many fans resonated with that quality he had. They enjoyed seeing Ichigo, after gaining Soul Reaper powers from Rukia, protect innocent souls from the terrors of the Hollows. It was a joy to see him protect those who were unable to protect themselves, and as Kubo slowly built on Ichigo's character and formed a pathway for us to peer into his mind, he became extremely relatable. A young man who lost his dear mother at a very young age and blamed himself for it. A person who wished to have the power to protect all that he could. It was a simple premise, but it was extremely effective. With the foundation of Bleach's fanbase becoming more established, both the story and Bleach's notoriety exploded to new heights with the advent of the Soul Society arc. Rukia is captured by her old friend and older brother, saw Ichigo have to look within himself to find the power he needed in order to mount a rescue. The allies he had formed over the course of the first arc became important support systems for this great expedition, and what an adventure it was. Soul Society arc resonated with fans around the world, satisfying old fans and bringing in new ones. Bleach's world exploded into new heights with the introduction of the Gote 13 captains and lieutenants. Ichigo and this motley crew of Ryoka broke into the Serete, clashed with powerful opponents of all manner and kind, while finding harsh truths about their true desires and feelings. The Zanpakuto began to form its own place in the annals of the anime and manga power system. Kubo would soon earn his place in the hall of iconic anime phrases by coining the term Bankai, something that would soon become one of the most memorable phrases of all time. Bleach was soaring. The battles were brilliant, the characters were deeply intriguing, and the plot twist with Aizen made fans of all who read the arc. Bleach was on top of the world, and so were its fans. Its counterparts Naruto and One Piece were dominating. Could they go much higher? Was there a higher level to ascend to? Yes there was. As anime continued to form a stronger base in the Western market and around the world, these 3 flagship shows continued to progress, and Bleach fans were ushered into the Arrancar arc. Bleach fans were blessed with amazing characters like the stoic, inhumane Ulquiorra Schiffer to the rebellious renegade known as Grimmjow Jaggerjack. Kubo sent Ichigo spiraling into a deep depression that threatened to rob him of his sense of normalcy, and fans had to see Ichigo pick up the pieces of himself to stand against the source of his strife, the hollow within him. The consequence mask that Ichigo donned after overcoming his hollow became emblematic of Bleach's success. As the stories continued, all the battles, wars, struggles, and preparations to defeat Aizen finally came to its conclusion. A large section of the community were not happy with the choice Kubo made in defeating Aizen. The infamous final Getsuki Tenjo would remain a talking point for many years to come, but with Aizen finally defeated, Bleach along with its fans were at an impasse. The competitive nature of anime and manga readers around the world had formed somewhat of a tense, divisive relationship. Comparing the quality of characters, art, animation, and storylines became a driving aspect of manga discourse. Conversations began to abound, and amidst those conversations, some fair points were raised, while other not-so-fair points also came to the fore. An agenda began to rear its head, one that poked fun at Bleach and its fans. The different approach Kubo took to writing his story began to be interpreted as a lack of writing skill. These points would range from Ichigo not having a goal, to Ichigo only using one move, to the stories being recycled narratives over and over, to a lack of world building, and everything in between. The first nail in what was meant to be Bleach's coffin was Aiza's defeat in the final Getsuga Tensho. With the most prominent story thread in Bleach at its end, many fans wondered if Bleach would be better off ending here. The narrative that Bleach fell off after Soul Society began to get stronger. YouTube and social media was beginning to become more active participants of our culture, and the opinions circulated at that level had a profound effect on impacting public opinion in the West. The second nail was when Kubo ushered in the fullbring arc and started what felt like a story reset. Those unfortunate agendas gained even more fuel at that time. The characters many fans had come to love and enjoy were removed from the story in favor of a more intimate narrative. The grand, larger-than-life supernatural battles that had become a staple in Bleach were exchanged for a more grounded fighting approach. The Gote 13 and Espada were replaced by a new group called the Fullbringers, and fans weren't quick to trade one for another. Powerless and unable to protect anyone dear to him, the world around Ichigo began to be torn down under the weight of a force he was unable to identify. In many ways, the Fullbring arc mirrored what the Bleach community was going through at that time. Incorrect notions about Bleach's popularity dwindling to a point of obscurity plagued the minds of many fans. The anime drew uncomfortably close to the manga, and there was a genuine air of despair and worry around the Bleach community over the fate of the Bleach franchise. The powers that be, as shown in Jump positioning Bleach's chapter at the far end of the magazine, rose even more doubt among the populace. And the third nail in the would-be coffin for Bleach came with the announcement that the anime would be going on an undetermined hiatus for the foreseeable future. Bleach, a member of the iconic Big Three, would lose its anime just as anime was beginning to ascend to a new level of popularity and profitability. Now, with no anime to advertise, Bleach would seemingly become overshadowed by a plethora of new stories in the anime community. The idea of the Big Three would become somewhat of a makeshift legend, with numerous fans wondering if Bleach was ever part of that famed Big Three of years past. It was a genuinely difficult time for Bleach fans, but there was a slight glimmer of hope. Kubo had begun writing the final arc, a storyline that was set up to be the longest and the most engaging arc of Bleach's story. The premise of the arc was perfect. The advent of what it could have become was exciting, and Kubo delivered even more iconic moments than many expected him to. The consensus during that time was that, at least in manga form, Bleach was back. I personally disagreed with that idea because it was only by the popular opinion that Bleach was perceived to have fallen off. I, along with a lot of other fans, knew what Kubo was doing and enjoyed every bit of the journey. But in any case, we welcomed the praise placed at the foot of Kubo and Bleach. That measure of hope began to expand into a fervent desire to see this arc animated. But as the arc trudged along, Kubo's health began to take a serious hit. Having been a mangaka for over 10 years, his health was waning, and his body began to crumble. His shoulder especially troubled him greatly, but still, he fought on, focused on delivering what millions of fans expected of him. It's a sad reality, but his health's decline began to impact his writing as many fans immediately noticed a shift in quality. Chapter pages were getting shorter. The once vibrant pages of years past were beginning to appear less alive and vibrant. It began to feel like time was running out. Kubo endured along, speeding things up in order to hit all of the important notes he needed to. The would-be naysayers noticed this change, and the pitchforks came out yet again, and we began to draw the ire of certain segments of the community. What was meant to be the fourth nail in the coffin of Bleach's demise was the shocking announcement that Bleach would be ending abruptly in the next few chapters. Fans were aghast. We were locked in the final decisive battle of the series, and we were left speechless. How is Kubo supposed to finish all of these short threads in a handful of chapters? It's impossible. Our sentiments came true when Kubo desperately and very sadly stumbled across the finish line, delivering an acceptable but ultimately bittersweet ending to the story of Bleach. With the anime on what seemed like a permanent hiatus, and the manga now completed, the consensus around the community was that Bleach, the always perceived black sheep of the Big Three, was well and truly dead. Some time passed. Bleach is now without an anime or a manga. By all intents and purposes, Bleach should be dead. There is no new content. There is nothing on the horizon. Having been beaten, battered, and broken, Kubo has laid down his pen and is finally getting the opportunity to enjoy life. Bleach fans should move on, right? They should be accepting and content with what they have, right? They've made memories, and they're part of history. So let your series rest, and find new stories to champion, right? Wrong. Even when the world seemed to agree that Bleach should be laid to rest, Bleach fans around the world loved this show way too much. For a long time, all Bleach fans had was the willingness to talk about Bleach amongst themselves to create discourse or to partake in the mobile game known as Bleach Brave Souls. Millions of Bleach fans flocked to this game and made it one of the most profitable anime games out there. The gaming company responded to the positive feedback and fed them even more content as Bleach Brave Souls formed a nice little corner of relevancy within the Bleach community. giving fans something to talk about. They would soon come to play an important part in Bleach's fate. As bad as things were for Bleach, a very pivotal event occurred. One of the pillars within the anime community made a video called The Fall of Bleach, something that was meant to be a review of Bleach's story or inner workings. Unfortunately, the video was riddled with subjective opinions, which is fine by the way. It's perfectly fine to have opinions, but the problem with that video was the masquerading of opinion as fact. And quite unfortunately, those ideas embedded within that video became the perfect foundation Bleach detractors needed to slander Bleach. And my how they did. Those ideas became a scourge of the Bleach community, and many content creators had to move mountains in order to fight against this incorrect notion within his video. They are still fighting back to this day. Those were extremely dark times for Bleach fans around the world, but their faith and patience would soon be rewarded. Shonen Jump launched a Bleach project called I'm Still Bleach, along with a Bleach Jet art book. Bleach fans around the world scampered to procure this very limited collection of Taichukubo's artwork. It demonstrated and reminded all of us that Bleach was still profitable in so many different ways. All through these times, Bleach YouTubers, Instagram account holders, and more slowly ramped up talking about Bleach. The Brave Souls community continued to keep Bleach relevant in the mobile gaming spaces. Bleach fans truly began to wonder if it was possible to bring Bleach back if they made enough noise, but their genuine wish for Bleach's return would constantly be drowned out by loud voices in the anime scene, reminding them that Bleach was dead. It almost seemed like Bleach fans weren't allowed to want their series back, but they persisted and they endured. In 2018, Shonen Jump would announce the return of Kubo to Shueisha with a one-shot series called Burn the Witch. When anime fans heard this news, it was met with a bittersweet emotion. On one end, Bleach fans were happy that Kubo was healthy enough to come back, but on the other end, they wondered if this would spell the end of Bleach in the future. Ultimately, most Bleach fans decided to embrace the arrival of Burn the Witch while still hoping for Bleach to return. The naysayers, on the other hand, pounced at this opportunity to embarrass Bleach fans even more, citing that the arrival of Burn the Witch would ultimately be the final true nail in the coffin for the Bleach series. If you've been keeping count, we're up to the 5th supposed nail in Bleach's coffin. Fans around the world nervously waited for the day of release, and as they read Taichukubo's new world, it filled them with a newfound appreciation for the art they had come to miss so much. Fans were not expecting much of anything Bleach related in Burn the Witch until the very last pages, where Kubo reveals that Burn the Witch takes place in the Bleach universe, specifically in a place called Soul Society West Branch. He then went on to highlight the word Bleach in the Burn the Witch logo, almost as a way of saying Bleach was never dead. Another 2 years would come to pass with Bleach fans keeping the faith, making content, buying merchandise, keeping Brave Souls extremely profitable, and reminding the world that there was indeed a market for Bleach. All that good faith, long-suffering, and perseverance finally paid off. In 2020, Shonen Jump launched Bleach Face Again, along with a 20th anniversary project. This is what Bleach fans were waiting for. Kubo would write 4 exclusive chapters for Burn the Witch. Bleach would gain an art exhibition, and the Bleach anime would return to animate the final arc of the story. Bleach fans won. Bleach fans withstood the onslaught of hate and vitriol, and they willed their series back from the brink of extinction. Burn the Witch would go on to be extremely successful, gaining a movie and a seasonal manga schedule. Joy filled the hearts of Bleach fans around the world, but that wasn't all. There was still more to come. In 2021, Shonen Jump announced that Kubo would be returning to write a Bleach chapter, which we later came to find was a continuation of the Bleach story after the events of the war arc. We learned that Bleach, No Breaths from Hell, was the first chapter of a new arc called Howl from the Jaws of Hell. Bleach fans went from getting deprived of the anime and the manga into a period of drought where we basically had next to nothing. But step by step, we got Bleach novels, Bleach art books, a live-action movie, Burn the Witch one-shot, Burn the Witch movie, Burn the Witch serialization and a season 2, an art exhibition, an anime final arc adaptation announcement, a Bleach chapter, and a new arc to look forward to. This has been, quite possibly, the biggest turnaround in anime history. We have flown from the heights of the Soul Society arc into the dark days we endured during the fullbring arc. We have suffered through the desert of not having any content to being on the precipice of having Bleach content for a long time. Bleach is now handled by the ever-talented Tomohisa Taguchi and a production staff of some of the best in the business. Kubo was in the studio with them picking voice actors, writing scripts, designing concepts, battles, and characters. There have been many nails in the coffin over the years, But Bleach fans around the world have kept that door from being shut with their grit, their fight, and their willingness to support the franchise. Ichigo left us with a message. He said, "See you soon." Well, soon is now, and the trumpet has sounded. The sealed King of Quincy has awakened, and he brings with him a vengeance that has been brewing for 1,000 years, along with the will to see the world destroyed at its very foundations. This is well and truly a Bleach Rebirth. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it's giving you some insight into what Bleach fans around the world have endured to get to this moment. And if you're a Bleach fan, my message to you is to enjoy this moment. You have endured, you have suffered, and you have done everything you needed to do to get to this moment. Now it's time for your reward. Now it's time for you to enjoy the good that's coming to you. And so if you're watching this before the episode has officially aired, my message to you, my advice to you, is to enjoy the build-up. Embrace all the goodwill and the good emotions that are circulating around the community. And if this is after, I still thank you for watching. Bleach is a very important show to me. As you can tell, I've dedicated my entire channel to covering that story. And so I always felt that it was very important. Before the Bleach anime episode 1 dropped, we needed to make a video that showed the path Bleach fans around the world have taken to get to this moment. And that is what this video is for. So I do hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. As always, I will be bringing you the best Bleach content I can, and I will see you guys on Monday with my review for Bleach episode number 1. This is your boy, signing out until the next Rebirth video. Peace out.